this lesson, we are going to be talking about the laws of exponents, and we're just going to be dealing with multiplication. However, there are two rules to remember, so let's take a look at those. When variables are multiplied, all you do is you add the exponents. So here's an example. X squared times x to the fourth is going to be equal to x to the 2 plus 4. And we know 2 plus 4 is equal to 6. So the answer is x to the 6th power. And eventually, this could just be mental math. You would not have to write that. But as we're learning this, we're going to make sure that we actually write that step down to get it in our memory. So then when variables are taken to a power, and here's an example, x to the fourth is squared. This means you are taking it to the power. What you do is you multiply 4 times 2, and that is equal to 8. So it's x to the 8th power. Again, when variables are taken to a power, you're going to multiply. These are the two rules that we're going to be working with today. All right, so let's work some problems. When you see variables written beside each other, that's understood that that means multiplication. So to work this problem, I'm just going to say x to the 3 plus 5. Remember, this can be mental math. You don't have to write it. And we know that is x to the 8th. And that is our answer. Well, number 2 is a lot bigger. We have w to the 5th, y, oh, there's not a number there, so I'm going to put a 1 there because that's going to be important. Y to the 1st, z to the 5th, and now we have w squared, y to the 6th, and again, z doesn't have a number, but I'm going to put that there because when I am adding my exponents, I don't want to forget the fact that those are ones. So we're going to look at the w's. I see I have a 5 and I have a 2. So I know I'm going to say 5 plus 2. Let's go to the y's. I see I have a 1 and a 6, so it's 1 plus 6. And now for the z's, I see a 5 and a 1, so it's 5 plus 1. Again, this totally can be mental math. But I'm just writing it now for you to get used to it. So our answer is going to be w to the 7th, y, 1 plus 6 is 7, and z to the 6th, 5 plus 1. And here is our answer. So looking at number 3, other than variables, we have coefficients. Well, we are always going to, when we multiply variables, we add the variables. However, the coefficients, we just multiply them like we ordinarily would. So looking at this problem, I have 12, and I'm going to put my letter A. I see I have a 5 and a 4, so it's 5 plus 4. I'm putting my B. I see I have a 2 and a 7, so it's 2 plus 7. Now, I'm just going to write it where I am actually adding my exponents. So it is 12a to the 9th, b to the 9th. And there's your answer. Well, that all had to do with Rule 1, where we add the exponents. Now, we're going to start to apply Rule 2, where the variables are taken to a power. So remember, when it's to a power, we're going to multiply those numbers. And whenever you have a number beside a parentheses, don't you usually think about multiplication? So that's an easy way to help you remember all these rules in math that you need to remember. So when I'm looking at this, I get y to the 6 times 3. So that is y to the 18th power. All right, looking at number 5 now, notice we have a coefficient. And I see the x does not have a number there, so I'm going to put a 1 there. So for this problem, the 2 has to be taken to the third power. And we know 2 to the third is 8, and we'll write that in a minute. But we have x to the 1 times 3 and y to the 4 times 3. Again, this is something you don't have to necessarily write, but we're just getting used to working these problems. So 2 to the third is 2 times 2 is 4, and 4 times 2 is 8. I'm just writing my x. I'm doing my little multiplication. That's a 3. I'm writing my y. 4 times 3 is 12, and that is our answer. When you have a problem that looks like number 6, you have to do the order of operations. So we know that exponents comes before multiplication. So we're going to need to simplify 2p to the 5th to the third power. So I'm going to do this work on the side. I'm going to just copy it so that you can see it. And I know I'm going to say 2 to the third power, because this is a 1 is an exponent, so I have 2 to the third, and this is p. Remember, it's 5 times 3, 15. So now, in simplest terms, I know that is 8p to the 15th. I'm now going to plug this into what is left. So I have 4p to the 5th times 8p to the 15th. All right, remember, we multiply the coefficients, so we end up with a 32p, and then 15, and if you need to write it out to do 15 times 5, that's fine, and you see that that is 75, so it is going to be p to the oh, hold on a minute. We are not multiplying them. Ha-ha. Looking at this problem, now this is just a multiplication problem. So we're actually going to say 5 plus 15. Notice we did a power, and now this is just a multiplication problem. So we end up with 32 p to the 5 plus 15, so we know our answer is 32 p to the 20. And there it is. And this is just an example of me being human and making sure that, I am double checking my rules. So you should do the same as you're working these problems. If this video was helpful to you today, please add a like, comment, and most importantly, subscribe for more Math with Marcia. See you again soon.